Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shannon. Now today I'm making a Father's Day card, and happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, and hopefully everyone is having a wonderful Father's Day. So I have got a variety of things. I have got the family musical mixed greetings, I have got the mini guitar, and I have got the musical notes and stave pop-up, and we're going to be using these for our card today. And I'm just going to be making a card for my father. Now, I have made several Father's Day cards this season, and this afternoon when I went looking for them, I could only find a couple, and I needed more than a couple. My sister had called me or texted me and asked me if I had one that she could use, and I thought for sure I had plenty, but they have walked off. I've had different people looking at my cards, and I suspect that maybe some of those got selected and I wasn't aware of it. So anyway, but that's okay. I've got all the things to make more, and I had one that I could use for my husband, and I'm going to make this one for my dad. I know if you follow me at all, you know that I play guitar and my dad plays guitar, and we play on the praise team at the church. So my dad has played guitar my entire life and grew up around music and everything. And I only decided to take guitar lessons just right before I turned 50. And so I've been playing a few years now, and we play together, we practice together, and I spent a lot of time early on as I was learning to play guitar playing with my dad and him showing me how to do it. So we've had a lot of fun playing guitar together. I did take some formal lessons as well, but spent a lot of time practicing with him. Anyway, so that's why I've chosen to use this set here. And what I used was some cardboard that I had from some packaging for the actual base of the guitar and the neck of the guitar. And now I'm just bringing in some Spellbinders brown cardstock here to add to the decorative elements. I wanted it to look very rustic, and so that's why I chose the cardboard as opposed to just some regular cardstock, because I thought it looked kind of rough and rugged and rustic, and we're making a masculine card here, and so that's what I'm going for. So I'm just using a scrap, and you can see I have die cut the hula girl's hair out of that scrap, and I'm just fitting my little pieces around that. I try to use just every little speck of my card stock, especially Spellbinders, because it is good cardstock, and it comes at a premium. So I'm bringing some more of that cardboard in and just die cutting out the other piece. I originally thought I would use the other brown for it, but I decided I would ink blend it. So I think we've got most of our guitar element pieces there. And I'm going to bring in the notes, and I'm going to actually die cut those out in black, and then I'll change my mind later in the video, and we'll go with a different color. I was thinking I wanted black, but then I really hadn't planned the color scheme or the direction in which the card was going. All I knew at this point was I was making a mini guitar. And so I die cut these out in black. I'll have to lay these aside. I can stick them in the packaging and then later come back to it. I've got an envelope that already has the pieces parts you saw when I was doing the introductory, that I had an envelope with a bunch of instruments in there from previous die cutting session, and I can just add these to it since I decide not to use them. I'm going to die cut out some more because I'm still thinking I'm going to use these, and I went ahead and left this in. This is part of the process. I'm trying to get these pieces to pop out, and I've just got my little mini scout there. The compliments of Daria. She brought me that when she came to visit, and I've been using that thing. You can tell by looking at that plate I'm getting good use out of it. I'm so thankful for it. So I'm trying to drop the dies on there to get them to fall out. I'm just going to bring in my handicraft tool from Spellbinders with the pokey and just pop them out of there. And then we'll get these things put away, and we'll move on to the rest of our card assembly. And this was a last minute add-on, so like I said, in fact, the cards I had the hand with the number 1 sign, and it said number 1 dad. That was one of the cards that I had. And then I had a ball cap stitched card that was there, and both of those were red, white, and blue. And they had the dad on the bill of the hat were the two cards I was looking for. And I kind of looked high and low this afternoon trying to find them, couldn't find them. I had one of the Mindy Egan's new car release cards that I made in that video. And so I've got that one on hand that I can use. And then I've got a Hero Arts jean jacket or jean shirt card that will make a good Father's Day card. So I have some options that my sister can choose from along with the ones that I'm going to use. So I'm zooming in here so you can see me assemble this little bitty guitar. And I'm just going to bring in my little pokey tool. I need to poke out these little holes here. That cardstock is heavy, so it did take a little bit of poking to get the little pieces out. So I'll just try and wipe all those out, get them out of the way, and then we'll get to assembling our little guitar. So this actually just, the neck of the guitar just lays on the base of it, and it butts right up next to, there's a curve on the end of it, and it butts right up next to the circular part, which would be the opening of the guitar. And I'm just going to lay it down on there, then I'll bring in that circular piece. I probably should have ink blended that circular area and made it a little bit darker on the inside, since that would be like the whole of the guitar. I didn't do that. I did use some darker cardstock to die cut this ring out. And so we'll get that laid down on there. And then this is like the kind of the side view of the guitar, and it would be a little bit darker. And so I ink blended it up as well. And I'm just going to layer it on there, and it kind of gives you like almost like a side. You can kind of see the side of the guitar. I'm just wiping off some of the die cut pieces there. And I've got a little brown backer piece for the back of this. And I'm going to pop out the little pieces that are in there as well. And then we'll get it laid down on there. And then we'll have a little bit of darker brown popping through there. And there we go. We've got our little guitar. I think it's very rustic. So here's the little decorative piece that it kind of would be the little guard on the guitar. And we'll get it laid down on there. And again, we just use the brown. So we'll give that a little press. I'm trying to get it just where I want it. I don't want it angled to where it covers up like the debossed strings. And then this would be the area that your strings hook into. And now we've got all of these little notes, and I was thinking we would decorate, our background panel with these. And then I go and I start looking for some paper and some cardstock and try to figure out what I want to use. And I decide that I don't want to use those, so we'll just lay those aside. I've die cut more of the notes out in the cardboard. And I don't even know what this is from. It's got to be some kind of packaging or something that I've had in my craft room and I kept. A lot of times I'll keep stuff like that thinking, oh, I might need some, like something strong periodically. And you can see I ran it through 2 passes, but I'm having a little bit of trouble pulling it out. And so I'm going to bring in my tool and just kind of pull it apart. And we'll get them all out of there. There we go. So now we've got all of our notes, and I'm just poking the little bits and pieces out of there. And now we're ready to get started assembling our card. And you can see in the lower left, I've got some paper picked out there. I just kind of went on just a treasure hunt. And I found this star background paper from Love from Lizzie and this marble paper from Love from Lizzie. And then I brought in the brown cardstock from Spellbinders, and I gutted the middle of it so that I wouldn't waste all of that on a layer. I'm bringing in some alabaster cardstock, and I'm just scoring it. We're going to do a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And it's a good heavy cardstock. You can see it's wanting to open up. I've got to give it a good press. It is really heavy. I actually picked that up at Hobby Lobby for a good deal, and it's heavy cardstock. So we're just going to layer them up. You can see I've gutted this one out because I didn't want to waste all that cardstock when all I needed was a little frame around my blue. And I don't know, when I think of men's card, I kind of lean into blue and brown. I don't know why, but it's kind of a favorite of mine. And so we're going to use this brown for a frame. We've got this marble blue paper. We're going to get it laid down on there. And then I've got that patterned multicolor star panel that we're going to use to lay our focal point on. Just trying to get that laid down there. And I think I cut this to 3 by 4 1/4 is what this panel is. And then I'm just going to bring these notes in, and I like them better, a lot better than the black would have looked with what I've got going on here. And so I'm just going to get some of the notes and the sharp laid down on there. And we'll just glue it up. I've got Butterfingers. And I'm trying to figure out if it'll lay flat. And so I'm testing it. I'm like, yeah, I can just glue it. Didn't know if I needed to add a layer or maybe some foam or something, but it'll work. It'll be fine because we have that extra layer on the back of the neck of that. And I think that helps to balance it out. And we're just going to get our little notes laid down on here. And they'll be kind of like our embellishment for this. Don't want to really put any baubles on this for a masculine card. Want to just kind of keep it pretty basic and keep that rough look that I got going with that cardboard. And then we're just going to lay it down on here, and this is going to be our card. I'm going to bring in some sentiments for this. I'm going to use from the Family Musical Mix Greetings, I'm going to use For a Very Special Dad. And I'm just going to bring some more of that alabaster cardstock in and stamp on it and just create a little square on it. And we'll get it stamped up, and that's going to be our greeting. So I'm just getting, this is the For a Very Special, and then we've got this scrolly dad. I was wanting to say scroll, and I was saying squirrel. Oh my, it's been a long week. Anyway, I'm going to bring in my mini Misty, and I'll get this little strip laid down on here, and I'll get my sentiments stamped on here, and then I'm just going to trim them down with my trimmer and bring them back in. This is really tight, so I'm going to lay For a Very Special down and then stamp it and then get it out of the way, and then we'll bring the dad back in and snuggle it up, and we'll be able to have them, snuggled up nice together. So I've got my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. It really is a fine stamp, ink stamp. It really works when you've got really fine sentiment, so I like to use that because it does a really good job. Just wipe that off, put it away. Now I can get my dad positioned down on here, and we'll get it stamped up, and then we'll get it cut out. And I'm going to use, I use the alabaster card base, so I'll be using this alabaster colored cardstock for the sentiment. And I'm just going to go and trim it down, and then we'll come back in. And I'm going to, because I've ink blended my guitar and stuff, I'm just going to use my blending brush and just dirty it up a little bit and just kind of give it a little rustic, vintage, aged look, and just add a little bit of ink to that and kind of take away some of that starkness. And I like it. I think it turned out nice. And I'm just going to tuck it in here, and it's just going to say, To a Very Special Dad, For a Very Special Dad. And we'll just glue it directly down. And this is an older product. I'll try to link the materials in the description box below. You can see I'm going to bring in an inside sentiment. And I grabbed another old set. This was March 2025 Clear Stamp of the Month. I don't even know what the name of it is because I didn't write it down. But it has all of the kind of holidays to my grandma, to my grandson, Happy Father's Day, Happy Mother's Day, Home is Where Family Is, to my granddad, or to my grandpa, to my amazing dad, you make us proud, tons and tons of sentiments. And these are the ones where you stamp once, die cut once, and you've got a whole bunch of sentiments. However, there are 2 of these sets. This is really a great set, but it was a club kit, so I'm glad I have it. So I'm going to pair it up. It's going to do my inside sentiment. And for this, I'm going to just use the Happy Father's Day that's on the inside of that. And I'll save all of these other ones because I have a little bowl, like a little snap-on lid bowl that I'm making sure I got enough room to die cut because I laid it really close to the edge of the paper. Was thinking about saving paper, but wasn't thinking about lining up my die there. So we'll get it inked up and give it an extra little press, and then we can line that die up on there and run it through our die cutting machine. And we've got a whole bunch of sentiments. I'll use the one that says Happy Father's Day, and I'll put the other ones away so that I'll have them for other uses later. And for this, I'm going to use some tape so that it doesn't move on me. I'm going to really take my time and get this lined up. Try to. And then we'll get it die cut out. So we'll get some tape on there. We'll go over to the die cutting machine. We'll get it die cut out, and then we will have all of our sentiments. So this is the one I need right here. And I'm just going to put these other ones away, and I'll have them for later. So we'll just bring in my card, and I'm just going to lay this down on the inside of the card base. I'm not going to dirty it up. We've got the card bases the same color, and we'll just lay it down on there. And then I've got those extra notes, and so I'm just going to use them on the inside, and then I won't have to throw them out or leave them laying in my craft room. I'm just going to position those notes around there and just have a little fun interest on the inside of the card as well. So this was an unexpected last-minute card make. I should have probably started pulling my gift and cards together a little bit sooner than the day before, but I didn't, and apparently neither did my sister, so I was able to scavenger up a couple of cards and then make another one so that we had enough cards. I think it turned out nice. It's a great card for my dad. It's very reflective of our relationship. So I hope you like it. If you do, consider hitting that like. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care.